Hi there, this is Ranjit, and we are at the end of 2017. And if you guys know me, I have reviewed a ton of smartphones, and I've also used almost every flagship Android phone out there. And I just want to give you my opinion, what I feel these top tier smartphone brands, for example, like Apple, Samsung, Google and LG did this year in respect to their flagship smartphones. And I have this unique opportunity, I would say, and privilege that I could review all these smartphones and use it also. And again, I also get a lot of feedback from you guys. So I would share my experience with the same. And first, let's talk about Apple and their smartphone lineup and what they did in 2017. I have used quite a few Apple products. For example, I also purchased the iPad Pro. For example, you can see this, and I also purchased the iPhone 8 Plus when it was launched, and also have this iPhone 10. And I feel in terms of hardware, Apple is doing a brilliant job. For example, their A10 Fusion chip, or even the A10, this Bionic A chip that is being used on the iPhone 8, 8 Plus, and this iPhone 10 is out of the world. In fact, you can even edit 4K videos on this iPad Pro without any issues. So the chip is very powerful. But the problem that I have with Apple this year is iOS 11, and I have to say it's simply not that optimized. For example, when I got the iPhone 8 Plus, immediately after setting it up, I noticed within an hour a lot of UI lags, and I was very confused. Why is this happening? Because the hardware is very powerful, but it is lagging, and I was disappointed. And I frankly thought I had purchased it from Amazon. I got a defective piece, but I did Google a little bit, and I had that day just upgraded even my iPad to the iOS 11, and that also started lagging quite a bit. So in terms of software optimization, Apple was always known for having the most fluid experience optimization with the software. Sadly, with iOS 11, that is not the case. Yes, just yesterday, the iOS 11.0 came out, and I had updated this iPhone 10 with the same, and things have improved. I would say it's not as laggy as it was, and UI frame drops that I was noting, but still I have to say it's not as fluid as we have that saying iPhones are the most fluid phone. That I cannot say as of now, and I feel Apple is sort of lagging, and they really need to work on the software optimization part. Hardware, they have nailed it. They have the best hardware, but software is one thing they have to really work. And the amount of bugs that I'm noticing with iOS 11 is, I didn't expect this with Apple. So they really need to do a very good, a lot better job in my frank opinion. And maybe iOS 11 with iOS future versions would improve. But again, it was launched almost about 3 months ago to public, and still we are noticing those UI lags and stuff, which is a very different Apple in my opinion. This was not the case with earlier iPhones. When you used to buy a new iPhone, it used to be very fluid and stuff. But right now, I would say hardware-wise, they're doing a killer job in terms of the chips that they're manufacturing. In fact, their chips, the A11 Bionic and others, in just pure benchmarks and stuff, will be better than Snapdragon chipsets, for example, the Snapdragon 835 that other Android vendors are using. But in terms of optimization, I just hope we get back that old Apple and they pay a lot more attention to the quality of software that goes out. Also, another thing that I noticed is that, again, as I've mentioned, I use a lot of other smartphones also. In terms of front-facing camera, I've used the iPhone 8 Plus and even this iPhone 10. I have to say, in terms of camera, the front-facing camera on both the iPhone 8 Plus and even on this iPhone 10 is simply not that good if we compare it with almost any other Android flagship. So Apple really needs to put a lot more attention on the front-facing camera. Even with this iPhone 10, it has that, because of the depth sensor and stuff, it can do the portrait mode, but it feels like it is a beta product. It simply does not do a good job. So I hope in the future revisions, whatever iPhone 11, iPhone 12, whatever Apple releases, they put a lot more attention on the front facing camera, not just for selfies also, because a person like me who actually vlogs and stuff, takes a lot of video, I feel the front facing camera is simply not that good. And for vlogging and stuff, I'm preferring my Android smartphones. So that's my take on Apple, iPhones in 2017. And I hope things change in 2018. Do share your thoughts if you use an iPhone, if you agree with me or not. Now let's move to Samsung. Samsung has launched quite a few premium Android smartphones in 2017. They started with the Galaxy S8 and the S8 Plus, and later with this Note 8. In terms of build quality and looks, I have to say they have done an incredible job. One of the best looking smartphones out there. But again, in terms of software execution, I feel Samsung is still lacking. Yes, we have the new Samsung Experience, what they call, earlier it was known as TouchWiz. It's a lot more refined in looks, but again, in terms of how it ages, it's still not good. I personally know quite a few of my friends who have purchased the Galaxy S8. Now it's almost 5 months since they have been using, and now most of them are complaining about poor battery life and also the UI lags that they are seeing almost every day. So that is something Samsung really needs to work on. And I feel with the Samsung, their TouchWiz or whatever Samsung Experience UI is still a lot heavy compared to stock Android. And I did notice this is the Note 8, and I'm not noticing that many UI lags and stuff with the Note 8. And I feel as this Note 8 is having 6 gigabytes of RAM, that is sort of helping. And Samsung should have put even 6 gigabytes of RAM with this Galaxy S8. So I hope Samsung continues to optimize their UI and makes it a lot more fluid, because Google now has come into the market. They are serious, and the Pixel range of phones, though they have just the normal hardware what Samsung is using, they're performing a lot better because of the software optimization. And I hope Samsung pays a lot more attention on the software experience, and I hope their smartphones age a lot better in the future. Now let's talk about Google. Google last year launched the Pixel devices, and I liked it very much because of the software optimization. And now they have this. This is the Pixel 2 XL and the Pixel 2. And in terms of Android experience, this has to be the most fluid Android experience out there. In fact, I would say this has to be one of the most fluid smartphone experience that I have used. It's even more fluid than iPhones. Let's just get that straight. And that is not due to raw hardware. Even this Pixel 2 and the Pixel 2 XL are using the same hardware, that is the Snapdragon 835. And in fact, the Pixel 2 and the Pixel 2 XL have just 4 gigabytes of RAM, unlike many of the Android phones that come with 6 or even 8 gigabytes of RAM. But what makes Pixel very different is the software optimization that Google is doing. The software optimization with the hardware is on a next level. So that is what makes Pixel phones shine. And of course, it's a Google phone, so you are getting the Android updates the quickest, and they have the special launcher. So it's a very fluid Android experience that you get. It's one of the most fluid Android phones that I've used. Even in my review, I said that. That's the reason I like Pixel. And they are taking the software experience to the next level with their artificial intelligence integration on the Pixel devices. For example, most of these other smartphones that I'm talking about, the iPhone 10, the Samsung Note 8, and even the LG that I'm going to talk about, the LG V30, etc., all have dual camera setup. But in these premium smartphones, Pixel is the only smartphone that comes with just a single camera setup, that is a single camera on the back and a single camera on the front. But even with that, just a single camera setup, they are able to provide features like portrait mode that actually work a lot better than others. And also in terms of camera performance, I have to say this one is performing the best. And that is due to the software algorithms and optimizations that Google has done. So in terms of software, Google is doing an excellent job, and that makes the Pixel devices in another league, I would say. But now coming to the hardware, here is the problem that I have with Google. The quality control what Google has is simply not that good. We know what happened with this. This is the Pixel 2 XL, and we know that what is happening with the screen of this. The screen is actually manufactured by LG, and it's not the best quality AMOLED screen that we are getting. If you tilt the phone a little bit, you get that bluish tint, and these things should have been caught by Google in the quality testing. I simply don't get it till now. How could this have been missed? So hopefully with the next year's Pixel and stuff, Google pays a lot more attention and is a lot more strict in terms of hardware quality control. If they can do that, I feel Pixel phones will be in another league, because the performance is there, but yeah, the hardware stuff is there. And also with these new Pixel phones, both the Pixel 2 and the Pixel 2 XL, I really hate the fact that they have omitted the headphone jack. The phone, as you can see, is huge, so they could have easily put a 3.5mm headphone jack, but sadly they didn't do that, because now they have that Pixel Buds and they wanted to sell that. It's a very sad move in my frank opinion. And Google, thanks to this Pixel 2 XL and the iPhone 10, because these are the two phones that I use a lot, I ended up buying this AirPods. Let's not talk about the AirPods later. If you guys want to know my opinion about the AirPods, do let me know. I'll make a different video. So yeah, that's about Google. Software, it's on another level. The optimization that they are doing is on another level, I would say. These other players need to catch. But in terms of hardware quality control, Google, you really need to up your level. Now moving to the last one, that is LG in 2017. I would say LG has been sort of the underdog. It's not like they're not producing killer smartphones. They are producing, but again, they are doing things that are simply wrong in my opinion, especially at least in the Indian market. For example, they launched the LG G6 with the last year's processor, that is the Snapdragon 821, and that is one of the main reasons the LG G6 simply did not sell that much, because the Indian consumer and the people who are buying these premium smartphones are sort of tech enthusiasts, and when they are buying a phone above like 40-50,000, they want stuff with flagship specs. So it was wrong for LG to launch the LG G6 with the Snapdragon 821. And also the big problem LG has specifically in India is that within a month the price of the phone drops drastically, and also in terms of the timing, they don't get the timing correct in India. Especially in India, they launch the products very late, and for example, the LG V30, they had announced it a long time ago, for example when the Note 8 was releasing, but the product simply did not come to the market. In terms of, I had a look recently at the LG V30. One of my friends had it, so I played around with it for 20 minutes, and it's a brilliant smartphone, I would say. Not without its issues. Again, LG V30 also has an OLED screen. For example, a similar OLED screen that we have on the Pixel 2 XL. And LG has to really up their game in terms of the OLED screens they are producing. The Samsung OLED screens are just way better. And also, big problem with LG is they announce the products, but they simply don't come to the market at the right time. And that's the problem with the LG V30. Now it's December and still the LG V30 has not been launched. We are hearing rumors that the LG V30 will soon be launching in India, but we still don't have a concrete statement from LG India. We have heard rumors that it might launch at 48,000 rupees. That's a very aggressive price, I feel. But this Note 8, which was its nearest competitor, was launched how many months ago? And most of the people would have purchased the Note 8, because the Note 8 is still a great product. If only LG would have launched the V30 a lot earlier at that price. Just imagine how good would be their sales, because LG excels in a lot of things. For example, they have very good camera, and in terms of video, if you shoot a lot of video, the amount of manual control that LG offers is next to none. So they're doing great things. And also the audio via headphone jack. I'm a person who listens to a lot of music, so I'm picky about the audio output from the 3.5mm headphone jack. And the LG V30 also has an excellent audio jack. So yeah, but what's the point if you are simply not launching the products at the correct time at correct pricing? I don't think so. people will just forget about it because it's a very hyper competitive market. I hope in 2018 LG becomes a little bit more serious, and when they announce a product and when the product actually comes to the market, they don't have such a huge gap. And when they launch the products, especially in India, they launch it at a decent pricing. And because the trend has been they launch a product at a certain price, within a month the pricing of the product actually falls drastically. I hope LG fixes that, and I see a lot of potential with LG. So I hope things change in 2018. So these were my thoughts about Apple, Samsung, Google, and LG. Do let me know what do you think about the same. And these were the premium smartphone manufacturers. If you guys want to know thoughts about the mid-range smartphone manufacturers, for example, Xiaomi, OnePlus, Honor, Moto, Lenovo, and Samsung in the mid-range market in India, do let me know. I'll try to make a different video. Again, do share your thoughts in the YouTube comment section below, and if you're still not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video.